Indian interpretation of Maya, and explain in the DVD that Maya is not that the world or matter is illusionary, sucking your spirit down, holding you from truth, but that the real Maya, the true meaning of the word, was your ideas about the world and your ideas about matter is Maya. So it's not that the world is evil or lower, or matter is lower or false or spirit denying, you see, but man's inauthentic ideas about something, particularly about the world, particularly about matter, his deviant, perverse, irrational, you see, understandings of the world around him is Maya. So it's again in his brain. So, and the sorcerers use this. The Indians also call that state avidya.
Avidya?
Yeah, avidya. Because vidya means knowledge, like the Vedas. Avidya, or aveda, means no knowledge, ignorance.
Okay, yeah.
So ignorance, according to the true interpretation of in Eastern mysticism, is that avidya, or karma, is created from a false understanding of the world around you, or of yourself. I've talked about it in other programs with you, about the idea we have of reality as opposed to what reality is itself. That's avidya. So if there is any action of magic at all, if magic has a physical application, then it is to remove that avidya and to get rid of those false understandings about the world. William Blake referred to it as mind-forged manacles. We've got manacles on the mind. Or, like he said, our perception is not infinite.
So we could say, to tie this back to the sorcery in the media, for instance, because that in a sense is about creating this false image of the world and just focusing on all the problems that we see out there, and this a lot of people they get their version of reality through the TV, so they look upon that and say, oh my God, the world is collapsing, it's falling apart, everything is bad, it's gone.
You're being
bad.
traumatized,
and
you're being offered a new inauthentic model of reality. This is where the media is, two aspects of the media. We talked about two aspects of sorcery, but the media has two-pronged attack as well. One is to traumatize you so that your own inner republic is in complete ruins. They love that. Look around at the teenagers today. Do you see anything that's not in ruins? And the second prong attack is, now we're going to manufacture for you the model of reality that we want you to have. Okay? Right? So now they've got this shit that you see on, television every day, every morning. So they've traumatized and eviscerated your own natural imaginative quality, your scent of yourself, your awareness of yourself, and they're going to replace it with this hologram, this phantasmagoria that they cough up, they spew up, and everybody's into it.
5 minutes later, the commercial's on, this is the new car, the new entertainment,
the new look,
movie,
or the new hero, the new hero up the pop charts, as Paul Simon has declared it. So this is their pronged attacks, and that's a form of sorcery. And remember, they don't mind also offering you what looks like a very hygienic reality. Remember, you'll see yoga poses. I've gone into this in my DVD on the subversive use of symbolism. They'll sure sell you subliminally. How many advertisements you see with halos of light and crucifixes and crosses and androgyny, right? And sacred animals, and you'll see all sorts of Christian imagery in the commercials, and people sitting in yoga poses with these sublime looks on their faces. We'll remove you from your depression. We're going to create a world of smiling depressives. This is going to be a dictatorship without tears. We got a perfect world for you. Here's pills. Here's everything is at your fingertips that you could want. And there we are with James, our James Bond perfect, little roulette wheel reality. It's all conjured up by those, witch doctors, the sorcerers, and people are into it. That's it. They're not. They become cynical, not critical. I want people to be as critical as hell. I want them to be totally judgmental. I want them to use that reason. I want, like Anthony Robbins says, pump it. I'll advocate that. Pump it till it hurts. Yeah, your reason, your critical ability, your judgment. But what's happening is that the media is turning that off. It's turning it down. Oh, don't criticize. Don't. Oh, no. That's too much trouble. So all these abilities, you see, are being weeded out. They're being slowly suppressed by schools and by the media. And these are mind-forged manacles around people's minds to make them narrower and narrower. And there's nothing on this earth more narrow-minded than the average teenager. And yet they're running around thinking they're the most open-minded people because they can wear, green army jackets and, camouflage pants and ride a skateboard, and be into all sorts of kinds of music. There's nothing more narrow-minded on the face of the earth than the average teenager. You don't see 40, 50-year-olds going spray canning, beautiful neighborhoods and leaving their garbage around everywhere, So this is, again, another one of the illusions that we have. You can't get through to most people. Because they're into what the media has provided. They're already overstimulated with all that rubbish and the nonsense and the fake forms of authenticity sold to them as reality. Look at the punk movement. These leaders of the punk movement are all sitting in Beverly Hills in big mansions. Billy Idol and, Johnny Rotten, all living it up. Multi-millionaires, right, living up the world. And then 5 minutes before that, they're like, wearing the communist, their anarchist T-shirts and all of this stuff. We're against. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If people haven't woken up, right,
Geldof and Bono.
Oh my God, total examples of that. Yeah. Sickening, getting down on their knees in front of the royals. Yep. Don't even start talking to me about that.
And we also have the aspect of people trying to figure out modern culture. We have a lot of people that want to. The modern culture in itself is a mystery, and what's in, what's hot, what's not, and you want to try to stay azure with that. You want to try to figure it out. What should you wear? All these problems within the fashion or the conventional society itself. There's so many
cliques, so many splinter groups, so many chic, little subcultural cliques that now you're completely overwhelmed. And again, this is remember we talked about in previous shows how the ego loves to troubleshoot the problems it makes, and which you can be caught forever, as most people are caught forever. They don't look at why has my mind manufactured a problem. No. They're disciples of fixing the problem instantly. This is where the psychology doesn't exist. Like the global warming, we have a problem. No, you've manifested a problem. The psychologist now looks at why you have manifested this problem. What's going on that you have developed for yourself? I mean, completely out of the thin blue, the clear blue sky, you have manufactured a problem. So you see, the sage or the mystic doesn't see a problem. He doesn't acknowledge that. He doesn't get into that at all.
It's a totally different mindset because, in a way, if you should try to explain that to someone who looks at the raw data, so to speak, But, it's right here on the paper. Greenhouse gases bump up. Here we go. That's the problem.
And I'm ready to go. I got my toolkit. I'm suited up. We've put money into this. The car is revved up. What the hell are you stopping me at the door saying, can we study your psychology? No, I'm ready to go. We're going to climb that mountain. We're going to do it. We're going to fix it.
Yeah.
That's re-hardwiring. That's, and this is what is going on. And the politician, you see, is the smartest asshole who's been able to climb amongst everybody else. He's above the psychologist. He's above the philosopher. He has sort of plowed through the crowd to say, it's me. I am the one who will fix all your world problems. So it's not a philosopher up there talking about global warming. It's not a psychologist. And guess what? It's not a weather expert. It's not a meteorologist. Yeah. It's a bloody politician. Yeah. And they're all happy with this. No. This is a meteorological problem. Can I please see a meteorologist talking about it? Yeah. Even if I'm going to buy into it, I might want to see a meteorologist talking about the problem, or somebody who's lived his whole life in that fold.
Studying that.
Yeah. What's Al Gore doing up there, championing in it? Because this is what the sorcery is all about. It's about Big Daddy,
Yeah.
It's not about the facts, And if you listen, of course, to Stan Monteith and the other people who've got the rebuttals to all of this, you'll find out the true story of how this whole global warming nonsense has been used to completely collectivize, you see, and manipulate human people.
Yeah.
So this is the act of sorcery. We're not interested in the facts, and we tool up. We're just dying to kit up and mount up and go in search of all of these causes, these Don Quixote windmills, to feel a sense of empowerment, because we are eviscerated of any inner power. We're also outer directed. What I mean specifically by that, and this ties into what magic is that the person who's involved in the magic, as opposed to the sorcery, is a person who is inner directed, meaning that he's not waiting for life to turn him on. Life has its stimuli, and that's fine. I'm not talking about living in an Orwellian, bleak, empty world where nobody does anything. No. But I'm just saying that in the magical person, the dharmic person is not waiting for life to turn him on. His meaning of life is given from himself. In other words, most people in the world that you meet are waiting for life to give them meaning. And I really mean it in exactly that way. If you could portray somebody sitting like a couch potato in a big armchair, turn me on. I demand You know, that the TV and the girlfriend and the world and the neighbor and the world system and the game and the ball game and, you know, turn me on. I want that because I have no inner life.
Yeah. Entertainment again, going to the movies and, you know, the roller coaster ride, anything.
Bringing nothing from within. Now, the dharmic person is somebody who doesn't even, he hasn't even thought about that. He is so motivated. He realizes that life has no meaning. It only has the meaning you give it. Man is a meaning machine. He's meant to bring meaning from within himself and bring it out onto the world. Otherwise, life will have no meaning. Or if you don't want to do that, then don't cry in my ears about the life you're living. If you do not want to bring meaning from within yourself, then happily take the pre-packaged, pre-digested, you know, literally packaged, formulaic stuff that is provided for you. Here is your TV dinner. Here, sir, is your meal. You know what I mean? Just slide the card, and here it is. We give you your meaning. And millions upon millions of people are happy to do that because they refuse point blank to bring meaning from within themselves.
Humans are cheaper than machines. The perfect robot, again. Work for the system, work for keeping all of this in place. And at the meantime, you know, on the other hand, you have an agenda. They can get from the human race, you know, what they want, the perfect worker bees, and we get our, you know, we get to be plugged into the matrix and be entertained by it.
Yes, because the beauty of the system, that inauthentic system, is that the government does listen. Big Daddy is absolutely all ears to hear you screaming, I don't want to create meaning for my life. You do it. They go, thank you. Thank you. The vampire says, come over my door, but enter in of your own free will. You must give your power to them. Then they run. Then they're busy, like bees, you know, creating the meaning for you. And you cannot now go back. You know, there's no retraction at that point. You've given them the rights to do this, you know. You've turned off your mind. You've turned off your create. Now, the magical way is to strip you from those roles, to make you question those roles, to give you the confidence to leave those roles. Magic is about educating you into the fact that the sorcery exists so that you can defeat it. It's to make you polyphrenic as opposed to monophrenic. You know, single-functioned, hyper-focused. Polyphrenic, you know, creative as opposed to inventive. Mutable. Like we said, the moksha, the true transcendence of good and evil, right, is not trying to fix good and evil in the world, but fixing your attitudes towards those things. You are in control of your attitudes towards good and evil. Instead of having a single-directed intelligence, have what is known as omnidirectional intelligence. You know, different kind of attitude. Reintroducing yourself to what's called the inanimate is a very big part of this. That there's a whole world of living things around you, but you know you don't see it because you've been taught to believe that animals and trees and even stones and rocks and mountains are dead. You may not admit that, but you've basically been trained to believe that. That the only thing that deserves your attention is the human being.
Yeah, you mentioned this before, you know, about the relationship to, you know, nature itself, or a tree, or a, you know, a mountain, or a rock, or you know, whatever.
It's purely functional. It's purely secondary. It doesn't even rate anymore. And that's the reason, is because human beings give us back all the cues and affectations that little ego needs. And so the 100% of a person's attention goes into human interactions, and hence pain is the end of that. That's not endorsed by, you know, the higher force. It's not acceptable for you to merely be relating reciprocally one ego to the other. Because remember, the ego only knows that it exists by relativity to other egos, by the way. Okay, the ego knows it exists in company of other egos. Right? Schopenhauer says the world is my idea. Right? So by connectivity, by nextness, the ego's existence is based on its relativity to other egos. And therefore, that's why it's so human-directed. But there's a whole world, an animal kingdom, you know, a natural kingdom, light. You know, do people have a relationship with light? They never think about it. The air that, you know, moves, the breath, the prana, you see, the constant changing of the sky, the water. Are the elements your best friends? You see, the elements are my best friends. You say that, you're like, they're ready to lock you up. You know, but do you have a personal relationship with the ocean? You know, or with trees? You know, Salvador Dali would never come to a friend's house without running over and hugging